Once, in a forgotten corner of the town, nestled beneath ancient oaks and weeping willows, there stood an old cemetery. Tall, withered tombstones reached for the sky like silent sentinels guarding the secrets of the past. This cemetery was like no other, for it was maintained by a spectral groundskeeper named Silas. Silas was a wisp of a figure, his form translucent and his eyes gleaming with an eerie light. He wore tattered clothes, and his fingers were like mist in the wind. He took his job very seriously, tending to the graves with a dedication that transcended time. The townsfolk spoke of Silas in hushed tones, for they knew he did not take kindly to intruders. Many a curious soul had ventured into the cemetery at night, only to be met with a bone-chilling sight. They would see the faint glow of Silas' lantern casting long, twisted shadows on the moss-covered ground. One moonless night, a mischievous boy named Timmy dared his friends to enter the cemetery with him. Brimming with false bravado, they tiptoed through the rustling leaves, hearts pounding in their chests. As they stepped over the creaking iron gate, the air grew colder, and the world seemed to hold its breath. The tombstones loomed like silent sentinels, their shapes dancing in the dim light. Suddenly, a faint glow appeared in the distance. It was Silas, his lantern flickering like a distant star. The children froze, fear clutching their throats. Timmy's bravado had vanished, replaced by wide-eyed terror. Silas turned, his spectral gaze piercing through the darkness. He spoke not a word, but his presence filled the air with an icy chill. Timmy's friends turned to flee, but the cemetery seemed to shift and twist, the exit nowhere to be found. They were trapped. Silas glided toward them, his feet barely touching the ground. The wind carried the mournful whispers of long-forgotten souls, echoing through the tombstones. Timmy could feel the weight of their gaze, their sorrowful longing for release. Just as Silas drew near, Timmy summoned every ounce of courage. "We're sorry, Mr. Groundskeeper," he stammered. "We didn't mean to disturb you. Please, let us go." Silas regarded Timmy with eyes that seemed to hold a lifetime of sorrow. Slowly, he nodded, his form becoming even more translucent. The spectral wind began to fade, and the cemetery returned to its silent slumber. As the first rays of dawn painted the sky, the children found themselves standing outside the cemetery, their hearts still racing. They looked back to see Silas, his figure fading like morning mist, tending to the graves with solemn devotion. From that day on, Timmy and his friends never dared to enter the cemetery again. They had learned a lesson in respect for the past and the spectral guardian who watched over it. And so, the old cemetery remained a place of quiet reflection, its grounds kept by the ghostly groundskeeper, forever dedicated to preserving the memories of those who had come before. The townsfolk spoke of Silas with a mixture of awe and reverence, for they knew that some mysteries were meant to be left undisturbed.